Hello and welcome back to Actually Let's Talk About It with me, your host Lily. And y'all, it's been a minute, hasn't it? It has been a minute, hasn't it? It has been a minute, hasn't it? I have been promising this video time and time again, and have not had the moment that I felt I needed to sit down and listen to this album. Y'all, thank y'all for everybody who waited for this reaction. I do apologize. I've been promising since October 29th. It's November 29th. November. It's been a month. Y'all, I apologize because I said I would be back with DPR IAN reactions just to not be back with DPR IAN reactions. But I've been keeping up with that man. Okay, because he like out here being GQ Man of the Year. Out here announcing more projects. Okay, out here announcing a world tour in 2024. I'm like, love to see it. Love to see it. Okay, and just out here just being amazing and saying so much on the broadcast channel on Instagram. So there's been that. So I have been keeping up with this man. I have been so very much avoiding listening to Dear Insanity until I could sit down and react to it with y'all. Okay, so it came out back in October 6th. And I swore that I would get this done before November got too deep, and did not. I'm sorry. Like, y'all, there was a lot going on. You know, if y'all have seen my community post, there has just been things. I took like a 2-week break from posting, like from recording and posting anything in November, just to process all of the things that I was learning about things going on in the world. And whew, that was heavy. That was heavy. There was a lot of crying going in there. There was a lot of education and a lot of crying once you learn about what actually happened and the similarities and the parallels to what my ancestors went through. Like, it was a lot going on. So I'm like, oh God, like it, but it's necessary information to remember. But it was a lot to look at. And I'm talking about, like, it was just researching things happening in the Congo. And I have ancestral ties there as well. It is researching things happening in Palestine. I have no ancestral ties there. And things happening in Sudan, and I have no ancestral ties there either. But I was just educating myself on what these people are going through right now and what they've been going through. And it just, y'all, okay. I had to be away. I had to take a break for 2 weeks. I was like, I can't even think right now. I barely was like coming, like I was like had to take days off of work. It was just not cool. I was like, it was just a lot, y'all. I'm gonna just say it like that. But you know, that's like a normal reaction when you're reacting to just the craziness like that. I think that's normal. So yeah, it was, it still is. It's like, it just is. Okay, I'm like, okay. It was just a lot, and I was like, and I was talking with my family about it. I was talking to my friends about it. And it's just, I was like, it was crazy, and yeah, like I'm like, it was just not okay. Even like now, just thinking about it, it's just so much that people should not be going through in 2023, and just to think that there are people going through crazy things, and I'm like, it don't make you sit, it don't sit right in your spirit. And that's all I'm gonna say about it. But yeah, that's where I was. If y'all was wondering, if you didn't read the community post, that's where I was at a little bit. But we're gonna get into Dear Insanity today. We're gonna do our Patron shout out first, and then we're gonna do our moment of solidarity with the indigenous people of the places that I just mentioned. Okay, so let's get into it, you all. So the first Patron shout out, it will go out to Genoviva. And the second Patron shout out will go out to Avi. The third Patron shout out will go out to Clover Me. The fourth Patron shout out will go out to Sammy. And then the fifth and final Patron shout out will go out to AL or IL. Let me know if I am pronouncing your name wrong in the comments. But thank y'all so much for your support on the Patreon. It really does mean the world to me. And also a big shout out to the people on YouTube who are the subscribers on the channel. Thank y'all so much for waiting for me while I got my stuff together and was recovering from just learning about things that I didn't know was going on. And thank y'all for your comments and your likes and your shares. And yeah, and if you're watching this on YouTube and you have yet to subscribe or would like to support the channel further, do not forget to do that. And then now, we're gonna get serious. We're gonna get serious. We're gonna get serious. For a moment, we're gonna take a moment of solidarity with the people of the Congo, and Palestine, and Sudan. Okay, so yeah, y'all, like, it's gonna be a lot of information. So currently in the Congo, and if y'all have never seen the earlier days of my channel, I did do an ancestry DNA test back in February of this year and found I did have ancestral ties to the Congo. That was one of the regions. And to know that the people there are currently being oppressed by my government, you know, it really angers me, to be very honest. And so it's not just my government, it's also the British government, the French government, and the apartheid state of Israel. So it's these four governments, and then tech companies like Apple and Tesla, who are enslaving Congolese people, hiring militias to intimidate Congolese people so they'll work in the mines, and unaliving them if they don't want to do that work, and taking their resources, even though it's resources from their own country, giving them pennies, if that, on the dollar, while they make billions and trillions off of their labor. And so the best way that people have said to combat this, and it's our way of protesting, you know, as consumers, is to not buy new tech. Not like even the phone that I'm recording this on has stolen resources in it, and it's a Samsung phone. It has coltan, it has a lithium battery, it has most likely cobalt in it as well, and so does the computer that I'm going to use to react to the album. So it's little things like that. You gotta laugh to keep from crying sometimes, but it makes it very real. So we have to be aware of things like that and just try to be in solidarity as much as we can. So if you do need to buy tech, I recommend buying refurbished. It's cheaper and it'll still last you as long. It'll still be as great as something new. And it'll go a long way in making sure that Congolese people are not exploited in the future. And then we have what is going on in Palestine. And I gotta preface this by saying that this issue is not as complicated as people are making it seem. I have read books. I have watched documentaries. It's not complicated. It is the oppressors and the oppressed. It's not complicated. Everything didn't start in October. It started in 1948. It started before that with the British occupation of Palestine, before 1948, really, if we're going to get technical. And it's just been hell for them ever since. I can't imagine being native to the land and having to leave your land, to leave your ancestral home with the keys to that home. There are older people in Palestine, in both the West Bank and Gaza and in Jerusalem, who are older Palestinians who for decades have had keys that they've been holding on to homes that they were kicked out of, forcefully removed from, under the threat of death. And they still have those keys in the hopes that one day in their lifetime, at their older age, they'll be able to go back. And that was the Nakba of 1948. That displaced 750,000 Palestinian people. Men, women, and children just kicked out of their land, out of their homes, and forced to be refugees. And we haven't even gotten into the decades that followed. And now in Gaza, there's a siege, there's a ceasefire right now, temporary one. We're hoping for a permanent one. But at this rate, they've lost 6,500 children. And as a person with no kids, but who grew up with kids, I just can't imagine what the parents are going through. That's the only thing that is running through my brain. I'm like, what? How do you get over that? How do you come back from that? You know, and vice versa for the children who have are the only people left in their families. Like, how do you come back from these things? How do you come back as a sane person? I don't know. I don't know. And then when they're saying that this is life in Gaza, is constant bombings and missile strikes, and I'm like, how do you live like this? How do you live knowing that you can't even control the water? You can't control how much food you have. You can't control the electricity. Nothing is in your control. And I'm like, another entity that doesn't even like you controls it. And I'm like, I can't make sense of that. I can't fully wrap my head around that. And the only way that I can think of it is in terms of what my own ancestors went through. Both Black and even the very distant indigenous ancestry I have. What they went through. That's the only way I could think of it. And it just sounds like hell to me, any way that I think of it. And when you're seeing the pictures coming out of Gaza, the videos coming out of West Bank, and then my own government being the main voice for no ceasefire. And I'm just trying to still wrap my head around all of that, still process the fact that there are people who are so narrow-minded that they're willing to collectively punish everyone in Gaza. And it just doesn't make sense to me. There's just no justification for this. It's the craziest thing. And I've been trying to rationalize how I feel, but it's like a righteous anger every time I think about the names of the babies who didn't even have a year in life. They were 0. Every time I think about the pages and pages of names, how they're just gone, that it just angers me so much. Because at my big old age, not old, but my big age, I'm 27, I'm able to have children. I would be able to have somebody that's 9 years old. That could be my child or under. And seeing how many children on that list were 9 and under, and seeing the videos of the parents clutching their children, even though they were gone, that, like, there is just no words that I could ever say that would be enough to express just what that can do to you mentally, physically, spiritually, just every aspect of your being, because it's just disturbing. And that's the only way I can describe it. It's just really, really, really disturbing. And, thinking about Congolese children as well, how they are just in these situations, and it's the greed. It is just all these people in power who don't want to help, and who don't want to reason, who don't want to just think about things rationally. And it's crazy to me. It really is. And then we have the issue in Sudan, and it's just more innocent bloodshed for no reason. There are foreign governments like the United States and Britain and France, yet again, encouraging ethnic division in Sudan, which is why there's 2, Sudan and South Sudan. And just paying and funding militias to fight each other so that they can extract resources from the region. And it's crazy when your government is behind so many unethical things. And I'm just like, like it just really doesn't sit well with me to find out that my tax dollars were funding the oppression of Palestinians. I found that out years ago. And the only thing that I could think of doing was to file exempt and then pay the IRS later. And that was like my little lick back. But Now I'm on a payment plan, but they didn't get my money immediately. But that's like the best that I could do. That was like my own form of protest, and I knew that years ago. But it's just crazy, and I'm just hoping for better days for the people of Congo, for people of Palestine, and for people of Sudan, and for them to just be free from this agenda against them just because of who they are. Because it just shouldn't be, in my opinion. And I think we had our moment of solidarity, y'all. But that's my thoughts about what's going on, because it's important to use your voice. I don't have a big platform, but I have a bit of a following. And if I was to look back 10 years from now, if my kids were to ask me, you were on the internet, you were doing YouTube videos, were you doing anything to bring awareness to what's going on right now? And I have to say that I did something. Even if it's just this, even if it's just me rambling, even if it's just me contemplating a little bit, having this moment of solidarity for these people, because I can't do much else. There's not enough that we can donate to bring back these people that they've lost, to bring back the memories that are now forever disrupted. And I just think that this is the best that I can do right now, because that's all I can do. I can learn, I can say things, I can observe, and that's pretty much all I can do. But it's something. And it's important to do something. Even as little and as irrelevant as we may think it is, it's just important to do something and to speak truth to power, because we have to realize that we do have some form of power here. But yeah, that's it. That's all I'm going to say. But we had our moment of solidarity. And if you stayed all the way through, thank you. But now we're going to get into the Dear Insanity album reaction and just see exactly what is going to happen here. Because the first song is literally called Famous Last Words. And I'm excited to hear what the famous last words are. Okay, so let's go into this.
Dear Insanity. If you are reading this, we have ventured too far off into our minds, and everything that we thought was a dream is now real. These are nightmares. My time is running out, but yours has just begun. But don't worry, I'll find a way to come back. I always do. Yours truly.
This sounds like Night Owl. That has him all over it. In terms of the way that it's written. Yep. I knew it. I'm getting good. With the beat though. Okay. But why does this sounds like the type of beat you would hear at a club somewhere in Europe. Somewhere. Okay? The beat. Especially when it's Twitch, I'm like, yep, it's giving me dance club. Okay, it's giving me dance club. Oh, and the way it's switched though. The transitions. Come on now. I like this. It's beautiful. Okay. Welcome to the other side. Oh, okay. We already. So, Mr. Insanity is here. Okay, let's see what the sound is gonna be. I like how it fades in and fades out. Like it's going from left to right, right to left. I like that. That is cool.
crashing down. All your walls mean nothing now. I'm worn out, left in the dark. Who are you now when you hear the howl? The sirens are calling for you. You're praying their powers in you. Don't swing your lifeline. Here comes a new tide. Welcome to the other side.
Was that Mito that said welcome to the other side? It's like, what?
That climb through your shadows, oh I dare. You bring down the battles and green flares. We'll signal the end of it all, but we will not fall. We will not fall.
The vocals on this man, y'all. Okay, like, come on now. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Oh, like this is just interesting. Like this way that the way that Mr. Insanity has a different type of vibe completely. That fade out though. But the way that this song was structured, like how it really gave you the introduction into Mr. Insanity and where this can go and how it's a different sound. But also I am wondering if that was Mito on the Welcome to the Other Side, because that was so very deep. I'm like, if Mito got that deep voice, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I was giving. But this is something else. Like, I like the tone that it's going into. And then, because, like, it's something else. It's something else. It's really a different vibe than the last two albums. Like, that's the craziest part. Because those were, like, Mito's albums. And then now we're getting into Dear Insanity, Mr. Insanity's vibe. And it's just like when Mito is out of control and it's like in the middle, then you have Mr. Insanity. And I'm like, ooh, okay. And I'm like, I'm like, this is something else. Like, it's something else. And I'm like, but Mr. Insanity does have his own unique vices, I think. That's what I'm gonna call them. Because, like, when it said that all, like, as the waves go crashing down, all your walls mean nothing now. Like, and then, like, the way he was acting in the music videos as well. Like, the way that Mito was, like, that guard a little bit. For, like, not like a guard, but, like, they're like on opposite, not ends of a spectrum, but they're like not opposing, but they just kind of like coexist or near each other, but are starkly different from each other. Like the way that you can instantly tell when it's Mino and then when it's Mr. Insanity. I think that is what is kind of really interesting about the way that Ian structures, like he structures his videos, and the way that he structures the different personalities, should you say, between Mito and Mr. Insanity. You can see the similarities, but there's just stark differences between the two as well. So I'm like, I really like how he plays with that in the music videos and how he really illustrates it well in the songs to where you get it immediately. I'm like, I really like that. Because not everybody's good at it. And then don't go on saying, okay, come on. This music video was something else. Like, the dance breaks, everything. He really did that. That's all I'm going to say.
Cause you won't know I was here from the moment the lights showed.
And I know what Mr. Insanity, like the howls and the mention of wolves twice now in 2 separate songs. Okay, like I'm noticing that. I don't know if it has any meaning for later, but maybe.
We've come so far, only to drift away. When the wolves take me away, don't fall apart. When I come back from the grave, forget my charms. I'll never be the same. We've came so far, only to go insane.
Come on. Insane. Oh, I did not notice he was saying no one will notice. Oh, goodness. Insane.
Stay by my side when the nightmare goes. I've been feeling distant, just way out of control. But I laugh inside, just so you can burn the dark when it's time for me. So just stay.
Come on. Not a clue.
Oh, bless my heart when the wolves take me away. Don't fall apart when I come back from the grave. Forget my charms, I'll never be the same. We came so far, only to go insane. 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 Insane.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I like that. Oh, that's good. Okay, like that's good. I like it, but I've always noticed something about the word insane. It literally is combining in and then sane together. And I'm like, and I don't think people point that out enough because it's basically saying you're in sanity. Like you're in a state of sanity. And so I'm like, is that a bad thing? Since technically you are in a state of sanity. That's all I gotta say. Like, I'm like, I never got why people would use that. Like, because sanity is the ability to think and behave in a normal and rational manner. Reasonable and rational behavior. And then in the definition of in, I'm like, is like, is expressing the situation of something that is or appears to be enclosed or surrounded by something else. So if you're in rationality, a form of it or a variation of it, isn't that still sanity? Because when they combine it together to create insanity, I'm wondering why the definition changes. It's like extreme foolishness or irrationality, the state of being seriously mentally ill, madness. Because why would insanity, aka insanity together, create something that's bad? Like, the math ain't mathing on that one. And I've always wondered about the way that words like have as much power as you give them, because technically the definition of insanity should be basically you're in a state of rationale. Now, is that state of rationale always up to societal states of rationale? Maybe not, but everybody's version of what sanity looks like is different. And during different manic lows or manic highs, of course your state of rationale would be different, but you are still in a state of sanity, aka insanity. So, is it wrong? I don't know. However, I feel like the way that words are used and the way that words are combined to mean negative things when they don't separately really is mind-boggling, and maybe we should question it just a little bit. But I did notice, like I said earlier, that the way that Mr. Insanity has like the nod to animals, like wolves specifically, mentioned in 2 songs now, and then the howling as well in both of them. I'm like, is it a sign? Is it a hint? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking too much. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But we're going to get into bad cold because I'm trying not to ramble too much. Ooh, that's good. I like that beat.
Telephone ring the unknown. What you want? My friends don't leave me alone. The night is getting too old. My feelings on hold. Never been so bold. We've been here before. Taking up to the coast on Sunday morning. I gotta shake up this bad cold. I wanna see the world with you, oh darling. I just gotta shake up this bad cold.
Come on. I like that. That's a good way to describe it.
My enemies do not know. I got that beside my lasers ready to blow. I tell myself to let go, but don't let it show. You get them involved. We've been here before. Take me down to the coast on Sunday morning. I gotta shake up this bad cold. I wanna see the world with you, oh darling. I just gotta shake up this bad cold. I just wanna shake up this bad cold. I just wanna shake off this bad cold.
Ooh, like that's such a good way to describe it. Cause I feel what he means by bad cold. I'm like, preaching to the choir. Yeah, preaching to the choir.
The crosswalk is on red line. Waving night
Running through your hair,
Ooh.
and you're no
longer here. Have you ever been
here.
The crosswalk is on green light.
I miss the moments when I really cared. You're no longer here. Have you ever been? Your eyes are running cold. Sometimes it's hard to show. I lied to let you go. And now you never know.
Got real deep towards the end. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, that was good. Like, there were so many gems there. I'm like, ooh. Like, the bad cold being, like, just the things that we don't want to think about. I gotta shake it off. I gotta shake it off. Like Mariah Carey said. But no. Like, but for real. Because I'm like, you gotta shake it off. Like, those bad emotions are the things that you don't want to think too heavily on. Because you know it's going to trigger you. Either not to violence or nothing, but like it can trigger you to get even in the deeper negative state than where you are already, and you don't got time to do that. Like, you don't got time to be dwelling on things that just did not make you feel good, or people or events, and you just gotta, like, I gotta shake it off like it's a bad cold. I gotta shake it off. I gotta shake it off. I gotta go to the sea. Okay, I gotta take a long drive. I gotta listen to some ASMR, rain sounds, something to get me out of this stupor, because I'm not going to stay in this state, kind of a thing. Like, I'm not going to let myself get into this state and stay in it, because I know it's not good for me. So I felt him on bad cold, but when he got deep at the end, I was like, sir, it'd be like that. It'd be like that. Like, I may not be able to relate, because I think, like, yeah, like, I'm the type of person that, like, just says, like, I don't have any regrets with anybody that I've ever been close to, I think. And I think that's, like, a good, like, kind of like a good thing, because I'm, like, I'm really honest about how I feel. Like, if I don't, like, I'm not a person that says I love you a lot to people, because I've never been that type of person. But when I do say it, it's because I mean it for real, for real. And so, like, because I'm, like, I'm not the type of person that likes to say things like that just out of the blue, or just because you would like to hear it. I'm the type of person like to show you with my actions, and then I would say it when I felt like you really need to hear me say it. But other than that, like, I'm gonna just, like, make you feel like I care and stuff like that. So I don't think that there's that regret thing. But when towards the end of Bad Cold, you could feel like there was that moment when he was like, you know, I lied to let you go. And I'm like, oh yeah. And I'm like, sometimes you can get into that place depending on where you are at personally, and you not feeling like you want to be a burden to somebody and drag them down as well. And I think it's like, I feel like it is kind of like, I want to say it's a human thing, but I've noticed it's very common amongst people within the BIPOC community, like Black, Indigenous, or other people of color. We do that. And I don't know why. And I'm like, I don't know why. And I think it has a lot to do with the traditionalism that we grow up in our respective cultures. And I'm just like, and you have to unlearn it. You really have to unlearn it and have to relearn certain things that we didn't necessarily get when we were growing up from our parents, because they weren't taught those kind of things, because their parents weren't able to have that luxury. And I think that that's where it's coming from. Our parents didn't have that luxury. That's why mental health is sometimes taboo in certain BIPOC communities, because they didn't have the luxury. And I think that, like, that is just one of the things that we have to remember. We're privileged to be in this time because our parents, our grandparents, and our great-grandparents, and our great-great-grandparents, especially if you in the States, they did not have that luxury because there was just too much at stake, and that they had to make sure that they were always on their P's and their Q's, and always conscientious of their environment, because things were just that bad back then. You know, I know there were some highlights, but, you know, there was just a lot more things that took priority over their mental health, unfortunately. But now we're in a better time where we can actually undo that stigma. and get into that place of taking care of ourselves and loving on ourselves and doing it for the people that came before us that didn't have that luxury to do it, and do it wholeheartedly. And I think like that's one of the best things. I'm like I was like watching a TikTok, and like this is a little bit unrelated, but it was like when you like we as Black people, especially in the States, come from ancestors who were forced to work long hours, you know, and they didn't get paid. And so what one of the TikTokers who is Black on TikTok said was that whenever you're resting, you're not just resting for yourself, you are resting for your ancestors who never got to rest after they worked these long hours because they had to wake up and do it again. And day in and day out, they didn't get days off. They didn't get weekends or, you know, anything like that. They didn't get holidays off, nothing like that. And you are resting for them. So when you are in a state where you just don't want to do anything, she said, like, you have to take that time and remember that you're not just resting for yourself, but you're resting for all that your ancestors who never got to rest. And that is now a luxury you get to enjoy because of all that they went through for us to get to this point. And I feel like that was just something that was just so beautifully said. And I'm like, because whenever you think that you're not doing enough as a person in life, you always have to remember the people who did the most in your ancestry, so you wouldn't have to do too much, so you wouldn't have to be stressed, so you wouldn't have to be overworked in the same way that they were, so you could have this peaceful time, because it's very peaceful compared to the times that they were existing in. And I'm like, and there's a lot of privilege in that. And I'm like, it's a privileged time. Could it be better? Yeah, there's always room for improvement, but it really is an honor to be a descendant of people who survived some of the craziest times, and to be able to enjoy things like caring about my mental health and resting and PTO and whatnot, and just simple luxuries that they just never got. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, sometimes you just have to remember things like that when you come from a BIPOC background, that it's just some things are a little bit harder to do with the older generations because they just didn't have that luxury. And now that we're in that time of luxury, they're adjusting. They're playing catch up. And I'm like, and it sometimes gonna have some harder things to do, but it's just I'm glad that they get to see it in their lifetime as well, because they deserved to have it when they were our age, you know. And I'm like, and that went a little off topic, but yeah, that I thought I'd bring up that point as well, because yeah, sometimes us not wanting to burden people, it's cultural sometimes for us, that we have to just keep it inside and not tell anybody about it. And I'm like, yeah, that don't work out well. Does not work out well. Like, be in all honesty, it does not work out well. Like, I know it does not work out well. Or it's a lot of stumbling. There's a lot of stumbling till you get back on your feet from that. That's all I'm saying. I'm like, because you can't keep all that stuff in. I'm like, it's just not normal. You know, even though we're sometimes taught that it is, it's not. It's not. The people that taught us that, the people that taught them that, they had to do that to survive. But now we don't have to do that to survive. So we have to get to that place where we can start the healing process, and, you know, and kind of like lead. Because who's to say that just because somebody's older doesn't mean that they can't be led to things that they had no idea about. We're always learning, and you can learn from anybody at any age, whether they're younger than you or older than you. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I think I'm rambling a little, but yeah, we're gonna get into So I Dance, because yeah, I'm like, I was going off on a tangent. Yeah, let me come back, y'all. Let me come back. Let me come back, because I'm like, what am I doing?
Hey, someone would love me. Snow, hello.
I just hope that someday someone will love me. Oh goodness.
The sweet phrase is turning cold as the fires begin to draw a little closer. I left all the water running at home. They drove around with a car that we sold.
Oh wow.
All of a sudden they just wanted to know
I like the electronic dance vibe of this. It matches Mr. Insanity's vibe. Like, it makes sense.
Flamingos are turning into giant pink rats. Let me know how many knives are in my back. Don't get cold, your world is just about to. I left all the water all in my home. Then drove around with the car that we sold. All of a sudden, they just wanted to know how I really feel. So I just danced.
Real dancing can relieve your stress. It's really mental health for sometimes. So I'm like, yeah. Idol, when he comes on, don't he?
God, this shit sucks.
This is how I really feel.
Come on. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta dance the pain away. You gotta dance the situation, the circumstances away. You gotta dance some of them negative emotions away. So yeah.
So I just danced.
It's therapy. Dancing can help you a lot. Also, all the songs are on here. I know I looked at the track list, but why did I not piece that I've heard 3 of the songs are from the album already?
It's 5 a.m. and I have to go. The wind is tearing up my eyes. You know. Friends tell me I look so dead. I think they're seeing through my disguise. They know. I get so friendly with strangers.
Oh, okay. Now thinking back on the music video, that does seem like it was Mr. Insanity coming out a little bit.
My tooth's been wiggling for you. Like peanut butter and I can't control all of my something better. Never been so better. That's the way my better. Look at me in my leather. Something better. Never been so better. That's the way my better. Look at me in my leather. I hardly do as I am told. I feel the
Me neither.
magic it does.
That was good.
Times, I hate to see your tea get cold from leaving the door open to I get told I'm just a stranger, but the way I've returned as your last lover. My world's been wiggling for you. Like peanut butter and I can't control all of my something
Like the structure of this song, okay.
That's the way my feelings left me in my liver. Go!
Okay. It's the night who's been wiggling for years, my peanut butter and your tears. Like, there is something about this song like that. Like, I feel like it has hidden meanings in it. Because, like... And, like, I want to look at the way that the song is positioned. Like, it is the 6th song. So it is the second to last song. And he put it here. Because Don't Go Insane was telling the backstory of Mr. Insanity. And just like what his, like, someone commented in an earlier video of my reaction to the Don't Go Insane music video, that what we saw during the dance break was what Mr. Insanity looks like in his full form, like his final form. And then So I Danced, when he was trying to take the control from Mido just to find out that it had been like a trick and a ploy, and how Don't Go Insane was before the events of So I Danced, and the events of So I Danced was before the events of Peanut Butter and Tears. And then what is so interesting about the song Peanut Butter and Tears is the fact that when he said, the way I've been, I get so lost in my color. Like, he's so obsessed with the disguise and the guise, but what is Mr. Insanity hiding? Under all the glitz, under all the leather, under everything, what is he really hiding? Like, what is he, who is he really? You know, like, kind of that. And I'm like, that is the really interesting part. And I'm like, And then also when he was talking to Mido in this song, that's what it feels like Mr. Sandy is talking to Mido, when he said that it was in that one portion of the song when he was saying, I hate to see your tea get cold from leaving the door open too wide. That's how Mr. Insanity got in. And then, like he said, where I've been, I get told I'm just a stranger. Like in the actual music video for Don't Go Insane, when he got kicked out of the town, they were literally trying to burn him at the stake. And then when he says in the next portion, but the way I've been, I've returned as your lost lover. So like Mr. Insanity is someone that Mido can't destroy, and vice versa. And so there's that, like, the banter between them and the push and pull between them, but they can't ever get rid of the other because they are a part of a way bigger whole. And I'm just like, oh, that makes so much sense. But yeah, that's my little spiel. That's like what I was like kind of trying to deduce here. But I'm like, I like the way that everything is just tying together. It fits. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. And then this is the final song called Violet Crazy. Okay.
Midnight darkness in her eyes. A thousand voices shatter through the night. Seconds only pass you by. A thousand reasons for me to turn on your lights. You're violent crazy. It's what I'm meant to be. There was no silence, baby, between you and me. Oh,
Wait, it went silent.
and it's driving me crazy. Is this meant to be? We'll dance until we say goodbye. 1,000 miles between our only blue skies. Tell me where we are in a falling star. And as your eyes light up, catch me in a fairy tale.
Come on, the vocals here. He always got him, but he is showing off. I let us know. He said the mic is gonna be on this concert. Come on now. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. What a way to end it. What a way to end it. Like, ooh, on such a somber note. Ooh, on such a well-vocalized note. On such a well-vocalized note, though. Wow. Like, the DPR IAN, this man is truly a class act. Like, I gotta say it. Because he really is that one. He really is that one. Not the 2 or the 3. He is that one. Okay? Because I'm like, I don't even want to say that he has a genre that he fits into, because he really doesn't. Like, I can't really put a genre to this man. I've seen people call him an R&B artist, but that don't sound right. That's not the right genre for him. Like, to describe his music overall, no. Like, there's elements of it, yes, but definitely not R&B. Nah. Not completely. Not enough to be put in that genre. No. I've seen people describe his music as K-pop, but no, like that's not, it's a broad term, K-pop, but it's not, he doesn't sing in Korean for it to be classified as K-pop, because like that's what I'm thinking. Like K-pop, J-pop, C-pop, K-pop, Korean pop, so it has to be sung in Korean for at least 50% of the song for me to think that is considered K-pop. Like, just like J-pop, it has to be sung in Japanese at least 50% of the time for me to think it's J-pop, or C-pop, it has to be sung in Mandarin, 50% of the time for me to consider it Chinese pop. Like, come on now. Like, that's what I'm thinking, but I'm like, I don't know why they keep putting him into the K-pop sphere when he doesn't sing in Korean. He is just a Korean who sings, but he doesn't sing in Korean. So I'm like, I'm trying to understand that as well. I feel like DPR IAN is like a genreless type of an artist, but if we would have to put his music into a space, it would be more like alternative. Dance and electronica really for this album, but alternative really overall. And even his last 2 albums, I would put it into rock, alternative vibe that I was getting, and that's where I would put him. Like, I feel like he has a lot of different elements that he puts into his music, but he's either genreless or he's really in that rock alternative vein, specifically alternative, really. And I feel like that's a good area. I feel like to be able to make music that people can relate to, that people can think critically about. I love to think critically. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love to read. And so when there's artists like DPR IAN who are so open and vocal about like their mental health journey and the importance of it, and just so raw in his lyrics, I feel like that is somebody worth following. So somebody worth tuning into, because sometimes people just make noise, and and it doesn't have any substance to it. But with DPR IAN's music, there's a lot of substance behind it. There's a lot of care. There's a lot of precise things that he is trying to relay in these songs. And I really, really, really love that about his artistry. And I don't know if I could say I do have favorites. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I think I got favorites. Like, I feel like the famous last words, I like it because it's spoken word and it kind of like has a little bit of a beat. And then, so I think that one is my favorite, my first favorite. And then I think I also really like Violet Crazy. I feel like there's something about it that's really like gets you deep here. Something about it, like, it's not even just the lyrics, it's the way that he sings it that like gets you deep here. So I'm like, I like Violet Crazy. That's gonna be number 2, and then Bad Cold has to be number 3, because I feel like that song is amazing. And an honorable mention is Welcome to the Other Side. But for me, Famous Last Words, Violet Crazy, and Bad Cold, those are my top 3. Those are my top 3. Okay. But yeah, like, this album, it was worth waiting. I feel like I'm glad that I waited. Okay, I feel like I'm really glad that I waited and to react to it when I was in a better headspace, because, y'all, okay, like, it's still like reeling from everything that we've seen in this last month. Like, and everything that you've learned and everything that you've heard, it's just reeling from revelation after revelation. And I'm just like, when you thought it couldn't get sicker, it managed to do that. And I'm just like, that is something, these are emotions that I haven't felt since 2020 with the Black Lives Matter protests and it was just like every day it was another crazy instance of police brutality happening. And it was something like that. And I'm just like, and then 2023. And it's just so important that we stay educated, but it's just like, I think I was over consuming things. Like, I had to know more. I had to understand what I was seeing. And these images, y'all, like, they not for the faint of heart. And I'm somebody who, I dabbled in medical school for a hot minute. So it's not like it's bizarre to see. But it was like, it's just something I wouldn't wish on even somebody I really did not like. I wouldn't wish this on somebody. Like, I wouldn't wish this on anybody. I wouldn't hope this for anybody. Because it's getting to the level to where it really needs to be stopped. That's where it's at. It's at that level. It's been at that level. But at this point where we are now, it completely needs to stop. Like, there's just not any more excuses we can give at this point. To me, I'm like, because it is just, y'all, okay, if I ruled the world, I would just, there's just better ways to handle things. And as somebody who knows history, I know what this does. I'm like, we've seen it, and I'm like, we've learned about it. And I'm just like, it's like, when you see history repeat itself, and the same people that kept saying that I would be on the right side of history if this happened again, and to see them not. Like, the same people that would say, I would stand up for the indigenous people if they were having their land taken by the colonizers today, and I would stand up for Black people if they were being enslaved today, and then you don't. You wouldn't. And I'm like, I'm not surprised, but it's really, really sad with everything that we know. But public opinion is shifting. People are shut things down, demanding a ceasefire. I've been listening to Jewish Voices for Peace so heavily these days. So heavily. So very heavily these days. Like Jewish Voices for Peace has really, 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 okay? And of course, Eye on Palestine and things with the Congo. It's just so, it's so crazy. We need more eyes in the Congo as well. I'm still reading through Cobalt Red, and like it's like every single thing, it just turns your stomach, just a little bit. And I'm just like, ooh, woo, 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 y'all. Like it's just crazy. And then Sudan, I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, and just to know that my government has a role, a very bad role that they play in these 3 events. That is just what's so, it's mind-boggling, y'all. Like it's really bothering me, and it's bothering me, and it just makes me upset every time I think about it, because every time I think about it, I can't unwrap it. I can't untangle it. And I'm like, it's good to have moments like this where you can just react to songs and not think about the craziness happening in our world. But then once the songs are over, once the albums are done, and I'm like, my mind just circles back. I'm thinking about the children in the Congo. I'm thinking about the children in Sudan. I'm thinking about the children in Palestine. And I'm just like, when will they know peace? Like that is like my main concern. Because like I can't imagine growing up the way that they're forced to grow up. And I'm like, that's not freedom. That's not freedom. They'll never know peace this way. And that's all I'm thinking of. And what kind of, because of the trauma of their childhoods, what kind of adulthood will they have? Like especially because we're talking about mental health, and I'm just thinking, what kind of adults will they become because of all of this? Where's the mental health people for them? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, people aren't thinking about that. I'm like, where is the mental health for them? What are we going to do? And I think that's what we also need to think about as well. We're calling for ceasefire, but what are they going to do after they get it? Because there's so much destruction. There's been families that are just completely gone. They're no longer, every last branch of the family tree has been taken out. Like, how do you rebuild from that? That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, how do you mentally move forward? How do you even start a therapy session for this? Like I'm thinking, and I'm just like, and the harder I think about it, the less answers I have, because I don't even know where we would start here. I don't know where we would start. Like that's the crazy part. I don't know where we would start here. Yeah, that's like that. I think that's one of the things that I'm thinking about a lot. That's been on my mind. I wanted to ramble a little bit, but DPR IAN took my mind off of things that are going on for a hot minute. But that is my reaction. I just had to ramble a little bit, kind of went off course a little, but I just had to ramble for a hot minute. But yeah, y'all, that cut it short here. But yeah, like I'm thinking about the mental health of these people going through these things, and I think that's what's been bothering the most, because they don't even have time to process. They don't even have time to grieve. And I'm like, coming from an ancestry of people who didn't have time to grieve, who just were dealt trauma after trauma after trauma, and so much that it even altered the DNA. Mitochondrial DNA of African Americans has been forever changed due to the sufferings and the trauma our ancestors experienced during slavery. So it affected us on a biological level as descendants of these people, to where they are calling it post-traumatic slave disorder, to where we have certain reactions to things. That's why some people have irrational fears of things or irrational, very bad emotions, very strong reactions to certain places and to certain things. It's like the way that I feel about the South. I have never been to the South, but everything in my body, like the South portion of the United States, every time I think about the South, it's just like a very disturbed feeling that just comes over me. And I do not know where it comes from, but it most likely is linked to some type of thing that my ancestors went through there. And I can't explain it, but I do not want to go there. Like anytime somebody mentions going to a southern state, it takes everything in me to stay calm, because that's how unsettling of a feeling I get, even at the mention of it. And it's something that, like, I never really said out loud until now, but like, it's things like that that can stay due to generational trauma that never went addressed. And I'm like, that's crazy, but yeah, like how that goes. And I'm like, I can't explain it. I'm like, I don't want to go to the South, but I'm like, I think I would be fine if I did, but it's just that feeling that I feel from it. It's not a good one. It's like there are some things there that happened that I don't know what they were, but they just weren't good. And so, like, that's always been my thing. Like, I haven't. I think the furthest I've been is Midwest in Oklahoma, and that's it. And I went to school there in Tulsa, where another crazy thing happened with Black people. I recommend y'all look it up if you know, if the people who know. But yeah, like they like the mental health here. I'm just hoping for better days, especially for, like, not just for the children, but for like the men that I've seen in Congo and in Sudan that are protectors and providers. You know, like, they are really trying to protect the people that they can. And in Palestine, like, the men in Palestine specifically that go in, they run towards people that need saving. Like, I don't think that I've ever seen people that don't have, like, sometimes they don't have proper shoes, sometimes they have no shoes on at all, and they will be running into the rubble to try to save as many people as they can. And just the things that they have to see, like the way that they have to wrap people. Like, I'm like, ooh, like, y'all, you know, like, when you never had to do something like that, I can't even imagine having to do that thousands of times, even tens of times. It's too much. I'm like, yeah. So I'm just hoping for them to really be able to get mental health for Palestinians and Congolese people and Sudanese people who have gone through these things. Because it's free Congo, you know, it's free Palestine, it's free Sudan. But once they are free, I want them to have that mental health aid that they will definitely need for everything that they've been through. Because it's not easy to witness what they are witnessing. It is soul shattering, it's earth shattering what they're witnessing there. And I'm hoping that they get the care that they need to process all of this, because as me being a grounded person, seeing those events and not even living through them, it was triggering parallels between what my ancestors went through, to where those 2 weeks were just, you know, I just had to stay off recording because I could not bring myself to. I'm like, nah, I'm like, I'm not able to do this, you know, like things like that. So yeah, that's just been my thoughts, you know, especially with the topic of mental health that always comes up whenever I react to DPR IAN. I was really thinking about that. Yeah, and I'm just hoping for better days for these innocent men, women, and children, and mental health for them, because the need that's going to arise, because they need a way to process this, you know, a way to, like, I don't even know if you could rationalize this, just something. somebody to vent to, because yeah, this is a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, but that is my reaction, my ramblings after the reaction for DPR IAN's album, the Dear Insanity album. I find it that if I had to rank the 3 albums, I think it would still be, for me, like, let me see, because like I feel like it would still be Mood Swings Into Order has a special place. So that one would still be first. But Mood Swings in this order, you know what? They all would rank high, actually, because shoot, not one is better than the other. They all have their really dynamic strengths. Yeah, I would have to say Mood Swings Into Order is a little higher than the other 2 for Dear Insanity, and then Mood Swings in this order. But they dang near neck and neck. It's just, for me, personally speaking, Mood Swings Into Order slightly a little bit higher for me, just a little bit. But yeah, y'all, that is my reaction, and I do want to thank y'all if you stayed all the way until the end to my ramblings and everything that I had to say regarding the album reaction, and then my thoughts on, you know, the mental health, and then everything with the Congo and Palestine and Sudan. Again, I'm just like, my hope is that they're able to continue on after this is all said and done. After there is a ceasefire, after there is freedom and liberation, that they are able to continue on, that they are able to function, and that they're able to heal. That's my hope. That's my hope. And if that can be done, then that's the most important thing. But yeah, that's my hope. But yeah, y'all, I am done. Again, if you are watching this on YouTube, you're a subscriber. Again, thank you so much for being a subscriber. If you're watching this on Patreon and you're a patron, again, thank you so much for being a patron. And y'all, will see y'all in the next reaction. Bye.